Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty. Before I make my introduction, I want you to listen to this.
Sam Smith gets to sing a great song about stay with me. That goes straight to power rotation on a mainstream radio station. If I sing that same song, limited bandwidth. Because our violence isn't the threat. Our love is. Our family separated. It's fine. It's perfect. The man staying with his family and raising his kids and pouring into his woman, that's the threat.
Okay, so that was the R&B singer Tank talking about black love and how black love is a threat to society and how society does not really want to talk about black love nor deal with it. And you know what? I agree. Because as I have spoken out many times before, there is an agenda, and that is an interracial agenda. But right before you is 30-year-old London-based actor and born there, John Boyega. John has made some news here recently, but it has been overshadowed by a lot of cheating scandals. The fiancé of Nia Long, Maroon 5's Adam Levine. But I want to touch on the controversy that is surrounding John Boyega, because this controversy has to do with his dating preference. And as you know, John is in a great film called Breaking. It has gotten a lot of buzz. But getting back to the main topic about his dating preference, see, John, some may say it's kind of a rarity. I don't think it's a rarity, but I do think that it is very rare that someone would be so vocal and state his dating preference and what he only dates. And John Boyega faces backlash after stating his dating preference: I only date black. Now that's very bold, because many black actors would not say this. So John Boyega only prefers and dates black women. And that has rubbed some people the wrong way, because John Boyega is in a position to possibly be the new artist Alba. And I did a video on John a couple of weeks back stating that he is in the running to possibly be the first black James Bond. Now, what I want to touch on this particular video is, would Hollywood accept a black actor who openly admits that he prefers black women? Because people are not used to this. People are not used to a black actor being so vocal. And with John Boyega, it does not surprise me. And the reason being is because, if you can remember the Black Lives Matter movement, where he did many a protest, he was front and center at the UK version. And I do remember him stating and speaking out about the plight of black people. So yes, he was very much first and foremost. But here's the thing. How would Hollywood take a black actor who openly states his preference towards black women? See, in this world that we live in today, there is an interracial agenda that people almost will prefer that you take a all lives matter sort of stance, even in your dating preference. People don't really have a problem if a black actor were to say that, well, I prefer white women, or I prefer others. And when I say people, yes, black women would have a problem with that. But the powers that be, who can blacklist you, they would not have a problem with that. Many high-profile producers, directors, and people who are in control of advertisement, They would not have a problem with that. I do believe that a lot of them like the idea of black actors preferring white women. And John Boyega is not the only one who has received backlash for this statement and preference. Actor Christian Keys is another one who has stated that he's looking for a black female, and he's another one who only prefers black women. And he too has received backlash from white women, it seems, who do not like the idea of black men stating that they prefer black women. And this is ironic and strange because the vast majority of white women prefer white men. They do not prefer black men. But I just don't think that a lot of them like hearing high profile black men state that they prefer black women. That's where the problem comes in. And for these actors who say this is just my take on this. To be honest with you, I don't think they should be so vocal or verbal about it. And the reason being, because black people are not necessarily, actually, black people are not in control of Hollywood. We do not control the entertainment industry. And what I'm afraid of is that, yes, they can possibly get blacklisted. That's just my only concern with that. I think a lot of times you should just let your actions speak. Actions speak louder than words. Many a times you don't really have to vocalize that or verbally say that. I just think that you got to be aware of the power dynamic and who's really in control of things. And I love the fact that they do prefer black women. I'm just kind of on, kind of scared for their careers as to what can possibly happen to them. And I do think they have to be very careful now because any type of a date with a white female friend, a white coworker, can be misconstrued as them being hypocritical when it's just a platonic thing that they happen to went out on, let's say, an eating excursion with someone white or white female. But see, this is what Hollywood likes. They like the idea of high-profile black men preferring these white women. They don't have a problem with this. If a black male were to say, my preference is white, these same white females who are complaining about John Boyega and Christian Keys would not complain about this. They have nothing to say about this, which tells me it's just a crock of bullshit, that people are being very hypocritical, and that people are just being vocal because their feelings are hurt. Their egos are a little bruised because they're so used to, I guess, in this day and age, black men, high-profile black men, seemingly preferring these white women or these non-black women. They're used to the Kanye West, the Jamie Foxxes, who obviously do prefer white women. And you would not hear a peep from them saying, did you date black women? No, these white women who are complaining about this would just kind of look at this and smile because they like the idea of high-profile black men preferring them. So I just think that a lot of times, just like what they're doing, maybe you should allow your actions to speak because actions do speak louder than words. And here's John Mayer. Remember John Mayer a few years back when he gave that interview stating that he did not prefer black women, stating that his dick cannot get hard for black women? Where were these white women complaining about that? Were you making a big scene about that? Him possibly being racist? No, they weren't. They weren't saying a damn thing about that. But all of a sudden, when you have a black actor who states his preference, everybody gets a little arms all up now. Wait a minute, you shouldn't say that. What about us? Include us. Well, John Mayer preferring white women, to me, is not really a problem. He has every right to have his preference. He has every right to put them first and foremost. Just like John Boyega, Christian Keys, and other black men have every right to prefer black women and put them first and foremost. And what has a preference ever been anything like disrespectful? How can you be feel disrespected or left out because a black man prefers his own. He's not saying anything against these white women. He's not disrespecting you. He's not putting you down. He's not saying kill whitey. He's just simply stating that he likes women who looks like his mother, which is very natural. And all the things that blacks have gone through, even abroad in the UK, being separated, discriminatory practices, all the negative imagery in news media that is directed at them. I think that decent people would be very happy that black people are liking and loving each other. I think that selfish-minded people who like the idea of seeing black people separated, divided, choosing them or others first, would have a problem with another black person stating that they like their own. I don't personally do not have a problem with a white person stating that they like their own. I hear it all the time. John Mayer prefers his own white women. Most white men do prefer white women. I live in California, large Mexican population. Vast majority of them who I speak to, Mexicans prefer other Mexican women. Is there a problem with that? Not at all. I think it's great that you like your own, that you prefer your own, that you elevate your own. I think it's wonderful. Is that racist? Absolutely not. How can it be? So it's really strange how when a black man states that he prefers black women, everyone is up in arms. Everyone has something to say then. It becomes controversial. This black man suddenly becomes anti-white. That just boggles the mind right there. It's almost like this black man here with a strong black mentality is bucking the system. And we do not like the idea of him thinking that way. And we don't like the idea of him practicing what he thinks. It bothers the shit out of us. We're troubled by that. So I think that it's great that you have people like John Boyega, Christian Keys, and other black men who in the entertainment industry uplifts black women. Because many black men on that position and level do not. So I think that no, these men are not racist towards white women. I don't even think they hate white women. Loving your own is definitely not hating others. And people need to just just the way that you allow Kanye to be, you allow Jamie Foxx to be, you don't say anything about that. You don't put your 2 cents into their dating preference. Don't put your 2 cents into what John Boyega prefers, what Christian Keys prefers, or other black men who prefer black women. That's not your call. It's not your fight there. We should be happy that people are loving other human beings that look like them. A decent person would be happy with that and would not have a problem with that. I think that people who have some racial animus are the only ones who would have a problem with that. So I would say to John Boyega and others, do you. Do what makes you happy. Like others would tell Kanye and Jamie Foxx. It's not bothering anyone. You're not hurting anyone. Upliftment of the black women is great and wonderful. We need to see more of that. Because too often we see too much of the other, the uplifting of other races of people. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty. And I will see you all beyond and through.